Pokepal Chris here, where we upload new Pokemon related content every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with the astronomically crazy market that we're dealing with today in 2025, I'm going to be giving you guys the top 3 Pokemon single cards that you should be adding into your portfolio today, right? We're going to be giving you logical explanations backed by data points as to why these 3 cards are going to have some potential growth within the next weeks, months, and years, right? So with that being said, let's make sure that we go ahead and put these cards in our back pocket before they go ahead and skyrocket. First, starting off, we have the Charizard V Sword and Shield 260 promo card. The Charizard laying down relaxed after an intense battle, right? As you can see, it has another Pokemon included into the artwork, which I'm a huge fan of. I really love cards that include other Pokemon into the artwork because it just basically invites that other extra fan, right? Someone who may not be so much of a Charizard fan, maybe just so hard of a fan of Venusaur that they're gonna love this card just because it includes it right there in the back left-hand corner, right? And then you're gonna see why that concept really plays a part into investing later down the road once I start going over a little bit deeper. But first, we're gonna go ahead and get into the data points, right? We have the card here at $46.84 at its current market price point, with a recent increase in price in an exponential, or I guess you could say exponential in a sense, compared to the percentage of growth from the beginning of this month, September 1st, up until today, which is the 24th, if I'm not, today's the 24th, if I'm not mistaken, right? You have had a, September 1st to the 3rd, it was at about 63.18%, all the way up to 136, so that's almost a double in percentage of increase from its predecessor point. Now, if you go ahead, and this is why I was telling you guys, right, that with the exponentially crazy market that we're working in today, it really gives you an opportunity to take advantage of these LGSs, right? These, local game stores for those that don't, gaming stores for those that don't know. But these local game stores really can't keep up with the market increases of every single card that is within their inventory, right? Also, on top of that, you have to realize that these card stores have a overhead that must be covered on a month-to-month basis. So not only are they unable to keep up with the inventory that they already have, right? They're also in a position where they can't really hold everything that they have in stock because they have to pay out their bills, pay out their employees, pay the light, etc., right? So with something like this, right, a card that is currently at a $46.84 price point, I was actually able to pick it up at my local game store for $30, which is literally back to the beginning of this month's price point, right? They had it literally mislabeled at $30. I seen it, instantly checked it out, make sure that it was near mint, and I just went ahead and grabbed it, right? So this, I highly suggest that every single one of you guys, if you have any local mom and pop type stores near you, that you go ahead and walk in and really dig through their inventory and see and look for any type of artworks that may be undervalued off of the market that we're seeing today, right? So if we go deeper into the quantity of this, right, there's about 226 individuals that have this card. Again, it is a promo card, so I'm expecting a lot more people to have it, but current sellers are about 108. So that, again, like I did in my previous investing video, that we have at least about, everyone may have 1 to 2 or an extra promo card on top of them, so you're able to go ahead and purchase from the same buyers and at those same kind of cheap rates. Maybe not on TCG Player because you have it at that $45 range, but I still believe that at the price point that it is currently, it is extremely undervalued. I can easily see this card touching that $70, $80 range by Christmas time of this year. Now, of course, if we view more into the data, we're going to see some of those recent sales, right? Let's not pay attention to that one on the 23rd at $500. That was clearly a PSA 10 with photos. But you have one at $45. You have one literally already selling at a $60 mark, which is way above the price point of what we actually, there's 3. Wow, there's actually one at $59.74, and there's another one of that same day at $59.75, and someone bought 2 of that card, right? So this is already kind of showing you that the card is trying to go ahead and cover up and go above its original price point at $46.84, and it's literally skipping the $50 range because people are buying it at the $60 mark. So that already gives me a hard indicator that this is literally going to be pushing up to that near $60, $70 range very, very, very soon. And the reason why, on top of that, as to why I really truthfully believe that, is because if you look at the alternate art from Sword and Shield, right, you're gonna see the actual battle in which Charizard and Venusaur were actually partaking in. So with something like this, a card that is literally from, it says 544, but market is technically at $378.04, right? And you see that same, huge spike increase from the beginning of the month towards the end of the month from September 1st, right, we were looking at what for the other card, maybe like 30. This card jumped from $240 something, what 25 at its current point was 25% increase, all the way up to almost damn near 100% increase in price, right, at $368.07. And of course, this is what I say about those fans, right? When it comes to Venusaur, Charizard, whichever one you may be a fan of, right? If you're looking at this price point of $378, my fault, $378, and you're already feeling like that's a little bit too out of your, your range, you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable to go ahead and gravitate towards a cheaper card that also still includes both of the Pokemon, and on top of that still plays a part in the artwork that you previously like. Yeah, you may not get the battle of those two, of course, but you're getting the aftermath, right? You're gonna go ahead and see the fire here, you're gonna see the holes, the broken trees from more than likely the vine whips from Venusaur and things like that. So off rip, I feel like this card is extremely undervalued, and again, at your local game stores, they can't keep up with the inventory, so you're gonna have to go ahead and start snatching it up and put it in your back pocket. And here we have for second the Mewtwo 052 promo card that is literally extremely undervalued in my opinion. Now, I wasn't able to pick this card specifically up yet, but I already have a buy for this card tomorrow for about $30. If we're looking at the current market right now, it's at $36.02, right? I'm kind of buying very close into that price point, but I have very huge faith in the increasement of this card, right? If we're looking again at the beginning of this month, right, you're gonna see that it is at $38.75. We've seen a high of 41. We're gonna go ahead and start seeing that downturn at the end of this month, right? But again, I believe that the card more than likely will reach down to, if so, to that $30 range, but that's just a prayer in the sky, right? I don't see this card going any lower than $30. If you can get it, I say grab it at $30. But we're gonna go ahead and see the quantity of this card is 218. There's about 113 sellers, and then we're gonna look into the data of this card, right? And this is the reason why I say I don't believe that it's gonna go lower than that $30 mark. We have the card standing in sales of $34.99, $35, and then of course someone, like I said, I bought the exact same card, or more so I'm buying it tomorrow at excuse me, at $30. Someone selling the card for as low as $31.30 and bought 3 of them up. Now then, before that, of course, you have $38, $44.95. So you already have this card pushing upwards to that $40 range. Now, of course, the reason why I truthfully believe in the fact that this card is underrated, and on top of that, right, don't pay attention to these. These are Korean and Japanese arts. That's why they're so cheap. Make sure that you pay attention if you do buy off a TCG player. But the reason why I believe in the increasement of the card is because the popularity of the Mew EX from the exact same set of promos, right? This Mew card has been growing exponentially in hype, and of course, like we see when it comes, like I said previously with the Charizard, right? When it comes to these brother sister type cards, we're gonna go ahead and see if one is gaining popularity and is kind of starting to tap into that unattainable range of money. Of course, this card hasn't reached that yet, but if a Mew of the same exact set with this amazing artwork, which I believe the Mewtwo, in my opinion, is a lot better of an artwork, we're gonna see that Mew, of course, touching into the $70 range. This map is kind of a little bit weird, but of course, if we look at the view more data of this exact same card, right, we're seeing 62, 62, 70, 74.99, and 62.21. Now, I believe that this Mew is going to go to at least $100 in terms of its range, and of course, with the popularity of that card, this one's going to follow suit as well, right? We're looking at this card to potentially, at the very least, by the end of this year, be at about $50 to $60 in its price point. So if you can find this, and one thing I'll say is it's very hard to find this card in public, right? I had to go ahead and tap into somebody through Facebook Marketplace to obtain this card. So these are going to be your best spots to go ahead and buy these cards for the cheapest price, right? It's Facebook Marketplace and your local gaming stores, and again, the bigger mom and pop shops where they can't really, go over all of their inventory and constantly going through price checking every single day, right? So you want to go ahead and be tedious when it comes to attacking these places. But yes, the Mewtwo 052 promo card is extremely underrated. I believe, again, it is going to be touching that $50, $60, $70 range very, very soon, at least by the end of the year, following suit of the Mew EX. Now, of course, last but not least, we have the Charizard V-Star Sword and Shield 262 promo. And of course, we are already seeing, right, the market is at $84.97, more than likely closer to, yep, $75.60. And we have been seeing this steady increase in price over the past months, obviously now at its high. And of course, its lowest being within at least the last 3 months at $31.98. We've been seeing a lot of, I would say, love and growth within the promos lately, right? Whether it be the Kingdra, I forget where that promo exactly came from, but a lot of promo cards are getting love simply because it is harder to reprint. And on top of that, it is a lot harder to obtain due to that fact, obviously. So of course, if we go ahead and see, we have 206 in quantity. 86 of these are the current sellers of this card. And we're already seeing it being sold at $71.69, $74, $72, $60, $72 within the last couple of days. And again, the reason why I truthfully believe in the growth and you know, the growth, yeah, actually just the growth of this card is that the Mewtwo V-Star from Crown Zenith. This card itself has been gaining so much popularity, and again, it is literally just the opposite side of the Charizard V-Star, right? The Charizard V-Star right here has Charizard fighting Mewtwo, and again, in this aspect of it, it looks like he's upside down. For those that don't know, there's kind of like a Diglett right there on the bottom left-hand corner. I think that's super funny, kind of just scared at the fact that, oh my gosh, the Charizard and Mewtwo are battling. But nonetheless, the Mewtwo V-Star has been getting a lot of popularity as of recently, right? If we go ahead and look into its data points, at the beginning of this month, right, a lot of cards have taken a very huge jump at the beginning of September into the end of September, right? It jumped from $126, oh, my fault, $141, right, to $212, which again is almost 100% increase in price. And of course, this card itself is still undervalued. I think the artwork is very beautiful behind it. It's a legendary, it's a very common legendary. It's one of the safer Pokemon to invest into, which all of these Pokemon that I just recently went through on the video are safer to invest into. You have 151, right? The original 151 Pokemon are going to basically always be your safest bet when it comes to Pokemon single card investing, right? And then this card setting at $239.94. Again, if I can't really sit here and afford that price point into buying one single card, I'm going to look into the next best thing, and that is going to be the Charizard V-Star Sword and Shield, right? Again, which has had that increase. And again, like I said, I picked these two up, right? Of course, we're talking about this one right now. I picked this one up at the same exact local card store at $50, right? $50. And I think I told you I picked this one up at 30. So, I mean, it's the work that has to be put in, but at the very end, you can kind of see that these cards are growing in popularity, and they're following suit with the same exact, you know, brother-sister card, right? Again, September 1st, September 3rd, it's standing at $67, and by the end of this month, that has increased about like a 20-something% increase, but again, it is following suit of its brother card in the Mewtwo V-Star. Same with the other cards as well. They're following suit in the growth. When one is gaining popularity, the next one is going to gain popularity. So those are my top 3 cards that I believe that every single one of you guys should go ahead and start investing into. You let me know in the comments below, are there any cards that you yourself are investing into? Are there any cards that you yourself believe are underrated in this current market? Right, I have a couple more that I believe that are very underrated, and even just like a collection of Pokemon that are underrated in terms of like the style of artwork, right, which I'll be covering in my next video. But with that being said, right, I just want to say thank you to every single one of you guys for following, liking, sharing, commenting on every single one of my past videos, right? I appreciate all the, you know, loved ones that have been sharing and just appreciating the work that I put out, right? We're literally so close to 500 subscribers, and you guys don't understand how huge of a milestone that is for me. So with that being said, like I said, just thank you so much, and I can't wait to continually keep going on to this journey with you guys. PokePal Chris, I'll see you next week.